Mama Bear and welcome to the 5th month of pregnancy. Now, there is so much to talk about in this video because a lot of things are happening this month with you and with your baby. And we will also be talking about the big comprehensive ultrasound, the best ultrasound of your pregnancy, in my opinion, except maybe the first confirming your pregnancy. That one is also really magical. So we're going to cover that later. But first, if you are new here, my name is Diana. I'm a physician assistant. I specialize in women's health and gynecology. I am also a mama to 4, and on this channel we talk about pregnancy, babies, women's health, and also just being a mama. So if this sounds like your type of content, make sure to subscribe and let me know in the comment section if you are pregnant now, and if so, how far along you are. But for now, let's get into the video. Now, when I say month 5, I mean week 17 through 20. Big milestones this month for baby, and also many women will hit a big milestone as well, which we will get into soon. But let's start off with the baby. By month 5, your baby's face is starting to look much more like a face. So their eyes, which started out on the side of their head, have now moved forward and are positioned normally. Now their eyelids are still fused shut, and they're going to stay fused shut for a little bit longer. The ears have also moved to their final position on the side of their head and are mature enough that they can now hear sounds like your heartbeat and your voice. So go ahead and talk to them and sing to them because they are listening. Their cute little noses are fully formed with nostrils and everything, and then their lips are formed and are already practicing sucking motions with their mouth and tongue. But their tongue is doing more than that. By 5 months, your baby's taste buds are working, and research shows they actually swallow more amniotic fluid when it tastes something sweet, which is so cool. That means that what you are eating might help shape their preferences to food even before they are born. At the beginning of month 5, so 17 weeks, the baby is about 5 inches and weighs about 5 ounces. But by the end of month 5, they have grown over an inch and over doubled in weight. Now on the fruit scale, your baby is about the size of a sweet potato. Now there's some really neat things about the baby's skin right now. First, it's still really thin, which means it's still really see-through, which means that the blood vessels are visible underneath. But remember how they are floating around in amniotic fluid? Well, imagine what would happen to your skin if you were to float around in water for too long, right? So to protect their skin, they form a creamy protective coating called vermix. That's that white stuff that's on their skin when they're born. They've also formed very fine, soft hairs all over their body called lanugo. Now these hairs not only keep the vermix in place, but it also helps to keep their body warm. Now fun fact, lanugo, that fine hair, isn't usually found on kids or adults, but if somebody is extremely underweight, like in cases of eating disorders, that lanugo will regrow to try to help keep the body warm. Now in the first trimester, the baby's bones weren't actually bones yet. They were cartilage. But in the 5th month, the bones start to harden through something called ossification. And then their joints are fully formed and easily visible on ultrasound as well. And when we look at the arms compared to the legs, they're a lot more proportioned compared to the legs and around 18 to 20 weeks. And since the muscles and the nerves are more developed, those arms and legs are really going to be doing some kicking and punching, and this is about the time that finally you can start to feel the baby moving. The baby's first movement felt by a mama are called quickening. Now this is such an amazing sensation. For me, it really helped me to connect with my baby because I could actually feel them inside me. The first movements can feel a little like a flutter, like a butterfly wing, or like a bubble moving inside, or a tapping sensation. Now it starts off intermittent, but you'll notice it happening more and more. Now your partner won't likely be able to feel these sensations yet, but you definitely will. Quickening typically happens between 18 to 24 weeks, and sometimes earlier if it's not your first pregnancy. Now if you're 24 weeks and you haven't felt the baby move and everything looks fine on the ultrasound, don't let that stress you out. You'll be feeling the baby move any day. Now, a few other major milestones that are really important for your little one is how developed their organs are getting. Their liver is producing bile. The pancreas is forming insulin. The first poop is formed in the intestine. And then the heart now has 4 chambers and is pumping. It's pumping 25 to 30 quarts of blood per day, which is amazing. And then when we zoom in a little closer to your baby, you can see that their fingerprints and their toe prints are now fully developed. They have eyebrows, they have eyelashes, and even scalp hair patterns are becoming more visible. And they also have tiny little tooth buds forming under their gums. If you are having a girl, her uterus and vaginal canal is fully formed, and their ovaries contain millions of immature eggs. And if it's a boy, the testicles are formed, but for now are still in the abdomen. All right, time to talk about you, because you're the one growing this little human. So it doesn't feel fair that while you are doing all this hard work to provide a place of comfort for your little one, you have to be so uncomfortable. But knowing what symptoms you might have and why it turns you into a true belly boss, being knowledgeable about what's happening can help you navigate more confidently. Now, not everyone has the discomforts I'm going to talk about, but some common symptoms you might be experiencing about this time. So first off, round ligament pain. The round ligament is a strong cord-like ligament that helps support your uterus. So as the uterus grows, the round ligament stretches, which can cause a brief, sharp pain either on one side of the uterus or the other. And it's often when you move or you stretch your abdomen. Next is nasal congestion. So if you've been wondering if you have a cold because you're having sinus congestion and a runny nose, it could be a cold, but it also could be symptoms from your pregnancy. Because during your pregnancy, your blood volume goes up. In other words, your body starts making more blood. Now, all that extra blood in your body plus increased blood flow in the nasal area causes congestion and runny nose. Now, this isn't talked about a lot, but it is pretty common. Next, let's talk about heartburn or indigestion. So pregnancy hormones relax the GI tract. When those acids get into your esophagus or your throat, it can create a burning sensation and it can get pretty intense. And as you get further along, your uterus pushes up on your stomach, making heartburn even worse. Now, not everyone gets heartburn during pregnancy. I didn't, but I really did struggle with back pain when I was pregnant. And that is pretty common, especially as you start getting into your 4th, your 5th, your 6th month and further along, because as your center of gravity moves forward, because your tummy is getting bigger, you naturally shift your position backwards to adjust so that you don't fall forward. And that shift in your posture is one of the reasons why we tend to have back pain and hip pain when we're pregnant. Now, as your pregnancy progresses, there's going to be more symptoms to talk about. So each month I will continue to talk about other symptoms that you're going to experience the further along you get. Please just remember that this video is general information meant to inform you and educate you, but it's not intended to diagnose or treat you. That is the job of your own OB. So be sure to talk to them about the symptoms that you're having that you're concerned about. Now, even though some women experience discomforts, there are some positive changes during this time too. A lot of women experience an increase in energy about this time. They also feel a huge motivation to clean and organize and to get the nursery set up. We call this nesting. So use the extra energy and the motivation to do whatever it is that you want to do with it, because in the 3rd trimester, you might not feel quite as up to it. So take advantage of it while you got it. Now, while you might be feeling a little bit of heartburn, a little back pain, there's another silver lining this month because you get to have your baby's 20-week anatomy scan, which is sometimes called your comprehensive ultrasound. And on this ultrasound, they're going to take a very detailed look at your baby. They're going to look at all the organs, the brain, the kidneys, the liver, the bladder, the heart, which they can now see all 4 chambers. And then they're going to look at the baby's home environment, so the placenta, the amniotic fluid levels, and a close look at the umbilical cord. Now, they're also going to measure your cervical length. Now, why would they care about how long your cervix is when you're only 20 weeks along? Let me explain. A cervix before pregnancy is about 4 to 5 centimeters long, and then a cervix when you deliver your baby is completely thinned out. Now, most of that thinning happens during the stages of labor, but if we see the cervix getting thin early, we start to think about preterm labor risks so that they can keep a close eye on that. And of course, they're going to check for all 10 fingers and toes and all of the other tiny details. And if you want to know, they can usually see the gender at this ultrasound. Sometimes you might need to return for follow-up images if the baby's position doesn't allow clear views. That's totally normal. Don't be nervous if that happens. Now, the ultrasound may feel like you've been thoroughly checked out and that you don't need to see your OB this month, but they still want you to come in for your routine 20-week checkup where your OB will likely check your weight, your blood pressure, and your urine to check for protein and sugar. They'll listen to the baby's heartbeat and they'll probably measure your fundus. Your fundus is the top of your uterus, and about 20 weeks, your fundus is going to be about where your belly button is. They might offer or at least want to discuss additional tests. Tests like your quad screen or maternal serum screening, which is an assessment risk for neural tube defects and chromosomal conditions. Amniocentesis might be offered for some cases of genetic testing if it's indicated, and early glucose testing might be offered if you have any risk factors for something called gestational diabetes, which is diabetes just during pregnancy. Now let's talk about things that you can start to do this month. First off, begin practicing sleeping on your side. Left side is ideal. Make sure that you stay hydrated. Make sure that you are continuing to take your prenatal vitamins, and then also focus on your diet. Focus on iron, calcium, protein, and fiber in your diet. And then if you have been cleared by your OB, make sure to keep up light physical activity like walking, prenatal yoga, or swimming. You also might want to begin looking into childbirth classes and hospital tours. Now, just a heads up, childbirth classes are often taught locally, usually in hospitals, and you can also find a lot of online options. One such option is my Belly Boss childbirth course. This is an online course that I've offered. This is something that I'm going to talk more about month 6, so watch for that in the upcoming videos. I'm pretty excited and I hope that you'll join me. Next, I want to give your partner a tip. This is a really great month for your partner to start to feel more involved. Now, as the baby kicks become stronger, they might be able to feel the kicks for themselves from the outside soon. So that's pretty exciting for them to start looking forward to. So that is month 5. By the end of month 5, by the way, you are halfway through your pregnancy. There is a ton of growth that's happened. You've reached some really big milestones, and there have been a lot of firsts. Now, every week, your baby becomes more and more like that little person that you're gonna meet soon. Now, if you did find this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and also make sure to leave your questions or experiences below. Now, if you like this video, but you really want to know more details about what is happening every single week, I've actually made an entire pregnancy series right here on YouTube. I walk you through pregnancy week by week. I dive a lot deeper into development, OB appointments, your symptoms that you're having. It's very comprehensive. I'm going to link to that right here. Click on it. Go find the week that you're at. Maybe check out a few of the earlier videos to help get you caught up. But be sure to click on that, and I will see you over there.